Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So we've got a little bit of a different what sold video here today. As you can see probably from the title and from the thumbnail, this was a very big sales week for me. But little bit of a caveat here because I was actually selling some games out of my own personal collection. So I'm counting it here in the video because technically they are sales that were made over the week. And I'm tracking the income and stuff like that, but it should be clarified that by all accounts, really, as far as the usual business model goes, this was another pretty slow week. But boosted things by selling off some of my N64 stuff and a couple of other things that quite honestly I'm just not using. I do collect video games. I've got a pretty good sized video game collection. But when it comes to the Nintendo 64, I've actually got one of those EverDrives by Chris, I think the name is. In any case, what it does is it's like an actual Nintendo 64 cartridge. It's got an SD card in it. You can load up your games on there that you obtain by, making copies of the games that you own or whatever methods you use. And you can just play it on a regular N64. So it's like emulation, but you're using the actual N64 hardware to play your games. And you can put all the games ever made for the system on the one cartridge. So I have that. And if I want to play N64, that's what I use. So really, all of these other 150 cartridges or something that I have for that collection, I really just don't even use them. So I was like, you know what? This might be a good time to just make a little extra money, put a little extra on some debt, whatever else, and yeah, so I did that. So anyway, I'll track it here, but it's not like these were the typical business model sales where I've gone out, sourced things for the intention of selling. But anyway, let's get started because there were some non-video game items that sold. First up was this Reebok NFL Willis McGahee jersey. This sold on eBay. I paid $4.59 for this, sold it for $20 plus shipping. And actually I saved a little bit on the shipping because I had a special offer, so I did make about $17 on that. Next up was this Cabela's Goose Down and Coyote Trim jacket, like big parka. This was something that I picked up fairly recently. I paid, a winter coat rate for it at my local thrift store, so after taxes I paid $16.39 for this, but it did sell for $80 plus shipping. And I ended up with a net profit of $49.11. Now we get this Peter Millar navy blue golf jacket. This sold on eBay as well. I paid $8.63. It sold for $35 plus shipping, so a $19.73 profit. I've got this torrid navy, more like a winter dress, pretty kind of heavier, thicker dress. This sold on Poshmark. I paid $7.99. It sold for $25, so I made $12.01. This torrid jean jacket sold pretty quickly. I could have held off for more money, but it sold within days of listing. Someone had asked a couple of questions and made a good offer, so I paid $8.63. It sold for $20 on Poshmark. I made $7.37. This Anthropology kind of blue ruffled shirt, paid $6.33. It sold on Poshmark for $26, so that's a $14.47 profit. These Patagonia Anya, I think is the model of joggers in a size large, gray. These sold on Poshmark as well. I paid $7.88 for these and they sold for $30, so I made $16.12. This Athleta Sundown tie-dye sweatshirt, I paid $7.48. It sold on Poshmark for $20, so that's an $8.52 profit. Now here's the first game that I sold for the week, which was 007, The World Is Not Enough for N64. And again, so no buy cost because it came out of my personal collection. It sold for $18.88 plus shipping, and so I made $14.60 in profit on that. I've got this torrid burgundy button-up shirt. Paid $6.33. It sold on eBay for $15, so a profit of $6.11. Here's the big heavy hitter of the week. I did not expect this. So this is the Red Dead Redemption 2 hardcover strategy guide. This was part of a collector's edition package, so this is a very limited edition, and this was like new. I am going to put a cost of goods in here for this one because when I bought this, I wasn't really like thinking about it too much. I was like, oh, maybe it'll be worth more than that and I'll sell it. And I haven't had it for that long. So I paid $15 for it, and it sold for $174.99 the day, I think the next day after listing. So I made $135.05 on this item. So don't sleep on this one if you see it. Now, just regular standard Red Dead Redemption 2 strategy guides may not have this much value, but this hardcover one that came as part of the collector's edition is definitely something to look out for. Alright, sold these new without tags Eddie Bauer Shaw pants, like a dress pant, and Shaw is the model that's inside. $7.88 buy cost, sold for $23 plus ship on eBay, and that is a $10.94 profit. Now getting into some more games here, sold Tarzan for N64, actually a pretty good platforming game, pretty fun. This sold on eBay for $24.99, so I made $19.02 after fees. I sold Diddy Kong Racing for N64, arguably a better racing game than Mario Kart. It's another kart racing game, and you know, I like the Mario Kart series, and Mario Kart 64 was fun, but I think Diddy Kong Racing might actually be better. $32.99 is what that sold for, plus ship, so I made $24.84. Now we sold this. This was a Lululemon gray tank, just a basic like racerback tank that I found at a bag sale. I paid 82 cents as an average cost of goods. It sold for $10. I've had it for quite a while after fees, and I paid the $2.76 shipping letter mail. Just that's what my cost was, plus, you know, with my bubble mailer in there. I made $4.72. Alright, another N64 game. This is Micro Machines Turbo 64, and this sold for $24.99 plus shipping, so I made $19.80. And here's a bundle of two. This is Rayman 2 Great Escape. This one went, so the bundle went for $57, basically. So Rayman 2 Great Escape and Quest 64. Which was one of the only RPGs on the system, and I mean, let's face it, it's not a great game, but I have such a nostalgic feeling for it. So it's epic, and it's definitely not greatness. In any case, I took an offer, worked out a deal, so $57 for the two of them. This is one of the cases where, you know, so these qualified for the expedited light tracked parcel here in Canada, and that's up to 200 grams, and it's only available through eBay, so it's like a special negotiated thing. So it actually, to combine these together into one package, would have cost, you know, instead of the 15 something that the buyer paid by paying $7.92 twice, yeah, $15.84, it would have actually cost me like $23 if I would have just put them in the same package, because then they would not have qualified for that light rate. So messaged the buyer, said, hey, just so you know, these will come in two separate packages. Explained why. They're like, yep, no worries. In any case, between the two of them, I made $46.23 after fees. Now they're just cheap item. Actually, this was weird because this shirt, this Madewell striped linen blend top, came from that same bag sale like a year ago where I paid 82 cents cost of goods. It sold for $12 on Poshmark. I made $7.23. Alright, another big one actually. This technically I guess is the biggest one as far as profits go, but this is Conker's Bad Fur Day for N64, heavy hitter game. This is $160. Facebook deal. Buddy showed up with cash. Love it. So no fees, no shipping to worry about. $160 in cash. And then another bundle of games. These sold as well on Facebook Marketplace. Did a bundle deal for these three games for $70. We've got Buck Bumble, which is a pretty cool Pretty cool game, actually, for the N64. We've got Turok Rage Wars, which is part of that Turok Dinosaur Hunter franchise. This one wasn't great, but that's still pretty cool. And then we've got Perfect Dark, which was the sequel to GoldenEye, which really revolutionized the first-person shooter, or even third-person shooter, I guess. But the shooting games were not the same back in the day. On the N64, you had to use those C buttons. Like, you actually had to press buttons to, like, strafe and turn and stuff. There were no, you know, you had one analog stick, and that's how you moved. There was none of this, like, you know, Xbox 360 controller really perfected, you know, the controls for shooters, I think. But yeah, it was very different back in the day. Anyway, so those 3 games sold for $70, and again, on Facebook Marketplace, no fees or anything, so that's what I earned. Had this red Wii bundle. So this Nintendo Wii, this is like the 20 or 25th year anniversary of like the Mario thing, so it was a special edition red Wii. And I had the Mario Wiimote, like the special one, and it came with a couple of Zelda games, Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. So really good bundle there. I think I had it listed around $190, but we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and we settled on $155 on eBay plus shipping. It was almost $36 to ship. But anyway, after fees and everything, my income was $141.95, so that is all profit, if you want to call it that, because this came out of my personal collection. At some point, yes, I paid money for these things back in the day, but they weren't part of a business transaction. So, all right, Virtual Chess 64. This is another game that sold on Facebook Marketplace and came out of my personal collection. Sold it for $20, and actually just shipped it to somebody a few towns over. So I charged them $3 to ship. Yeah, it cost me a little bit more than that by the time I account for my bubble mailer, but I still made $18.86. And now we've got these Spanx jeans in an XL tall. These sold on Poshmark. I paid $7.88. They sold for $35, so that's a 2012 profit. This Vineyard Vines Murray shirt in a size large. This has just been here forever, so I paid $5 for this. And someone offered me $10 on Poshmark. I was like, yes, please, let me take that. I made $1.05, but that's okay, because this thing is gone now, and I don't need to look at it anymore. These Polo Ralph Lauren, like, Polo Bear shirts do pretty well. I mean, they sell pretty quickly, not for tons of money, but for me, I've sold a few now in that 25 to 35 range. So I paid $5.46 for this. Someone sent me an offer within a week of listing for $25 on Poshmark, so I took it. It made $14.54. So this is another game that came out of my personal collection. That's a PS3 game, Tales of Zestiria. Sold for $24.99. Now I did cover the free untracked letter mail for that. So all said and done, after fees and shipping, I made $18.52. This was a cool one. This is an Eddie Bauer. It's called the Hot Joe ceramic travel mug with like a flat bottom, so it'd be good for like on a golf cart or something like that. And that sold on eBay. We paid $2 for this at Salvation Army a couple months ago or whatever. It sold for $21.95 plus shipping. Again, I had a special discounted rate I was able to use for the shipping, so I did make a few extra dollars there. So I actually earned about $19 on this one. And here's a bundle of games that I sold to a buyer in Hawaii. They actually bought them in separate transactions, but then asked if I could combine the shipping, and I could, so I was able to actually send them back a refund on the shipping. So this is Super Smash Bros. N64. This one sold for $50. And then Hybrid Heaven, which is a kind of a unique game. It's like fighter meets RPG elements meets, yeah, there's a few things going on there. It's kind of cool. This one sold for $30. So altogether, the buyer paid something like, yeah, $19 in shipping. It didn't cost me that. I was able to send them back, I think, $8 or $10. I can't remember off the top of my head now. And then a couple more N64 games to round out the week. So Blast Corps, this sold to a previous buyer who had purchased a expensive GameCube game from me here last year. This one sold for $24.99, so I made $19.80 on it altogether. And then Destruction Derby was the last game and last item for this week, and that one we had it listed for $19.99, and yeah, they offered $17, so I took that. So I made $11.99 after fees and stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's look at these total numbers. Total numbers tell a pretty good story of $1,293.79 in sales, and $1,127 of that in income. So $1,008 in profit for a 77.9% margin. Now, obviously, again, this is a very big outlier. This is not the typical business model, and it's not like I'm planning to just sell off my collection and inflate my business numbers like this, but it was worth showing, you know, what I was doing there, and I figured I would at least include things in this video. I mean, otherwise it would have been a pretty slow week, but you know, it is all money rolling in, and the way I did things, normally I take that income number and I split that, you know, so my payouts from eBay and Poshmark, I'll take that total number, split it in half. Half goes towards debt, and then half goes towards reinvesting in the business. This week I did things a little bit differently, and any income that was coming in from the video game sales, I took that number separately and just applied that to some other expenses and things that we had, and then did the usual split. So yeah, I guess that is it. Pretty cool week for some sales. Again, you know, nice to see some money rolling in. I have made a few decent sales already this week to start, but the numbers are definitely down. I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully things start picking up again soon, but I know there are a lot of people struggling right now, and, you know, this is the time of year, you've got extra heating costs and all the rest, so I'm not expecting things to pick back up again, really, probably for another month or two, but, oh well, we'll just keep listing and do what we can, and in the meantime, yeah, I can sell off some of my stuff and make some extra cash, but, alright, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Appreciate all the support on the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.